Imagine this. It's July 4, 1776, in the sweltering heat of Philadelphia. A room filled with men in powdered wigs and waistcoats, their faces etched with defiance and fear. Thomas Jefferson's quill scratches across parchment, inking words that will ignite a revolution. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. But outside, British redcoats march. Cannons rumble in the distance, and the fate of a fledgling nation hangs by a thread. What if one signature faltered? What if the ink ran dry? Welcome to the epic saga of American history, a tale of rebels, dreamers, tyrants, and triumphs that shaped the world. Buckle up, because this isn't just history. It's the heartbeat of freedom, pounding through centuries of blood, sweat, and unyielding spirit. Let's rewind to the very beginning, to a time when the New World was a whisper on the wind. In 1492, Christopher Columbus, that audacious Italian explorer sailing under the Spanish flag, stumbles upon the Americas. "Land ho!" he cries, but little does he know he's unleashing a storm. Native civilizations, the mighty Aztecs in Mexico, the Incas in Peru, the diverse tribes across North America thrive in harmony with the land. But the Europeans arrive like a tidal wave, bringing steel horses and diseases that decimate populations. Picture the horror: villages empty, ancient knowledge lost to the feverish grip of smallpox. Yet from this clash of worlds, a new era dawns. Spanish conquistadors like Hernán Cortés topple empires with ruthless ambition, gold fever driving them mad. "For God, glory, and gold," they shout as Tenochtitlan falls in flames. Fast forward to the 1600s, and the English stake their claim. Jamestown, Virginia, 1607, the first permanent English settlement. Starvation stalks the colonists like a shadow. Captain John Smith barks orders, "He who does not work shall not eat." Pocahontas, the Powhatan princess, becomes a bridge between worlds, her marriage to John Rolfe a fragile peace. But tobacco saves the day, turning the soil into green gold and birthing the dark underbelly of slavery. Ships creak across the Atlantic, crammed with chained Africans, their cries swallowed by the sea. The Middle Passage, a nightmare of whips and despair, forging the foundations of a nation on stolen lives. By the 1700s, 13 colonies hug the eastern seaboard, buzzing with Puritan zeal in New England, Quaker tolerance in Pennsylvania, and southern plantations swelling with wealth. But tension simmers. King George III, that distant monarch across the ocean, tightens his grip. Taxes without representation, the Stamp Act, the Tea Act, spark fury. In Boston Harbor, 1773, Sons of Liberty disguised as Mohawks hurl chests of tea overboard. "No taxation without representation," echoes through the night, the water boiling with rebellion. Then comes the shot heard round the world. April 19th, 1775, Lexington and Concord. Minutemen, farmers with muskets, face the world's mightiest army. "Stand your ground!" Paul Revere's midnight ride warns. Blood stains the green and the American Revolution erupts. George Washington, the stoic Virginian, crosses the icy Delaware on Christmas night. 1776, surprising Hessian mercenaries in Trenton. Cannons roar, bayonets clash. Valley Forge tests the soul. Soldiers freeze in rags. But Baron von Steuben drills them into a force. Thomas Paine's common sense fans the flames. These are the times that try men's souls. The turning point, Saratoga, 1777, where American victory lures France into the fray. Lafayette, the young Marquis, fights alongside Washington like a brother. Yorktown, 1781, the final act. British General Cornwallis surrenders as fifes play "The World Turned Upside Down." Independence is won, but at what cost? Thousands dead, a nation scarred. The Constitution follows in 1787, a masterpiece of compromise. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, debates in secrecy. Federalists versus anti-federalists. Hamilton's vision of a strong union clashes with Jefferson's agrarian dream. "We the people," it begins, birthing a republic where power flows from the governed. But scars fester. Slavery, that original sin, divides the young nation. The Missouri Compromise of 1820 draws a line in the sand, but abolitionists like Frederick Douglass thunder against it. "What to the slave is the 4th of July?" he demands, his voice a whip cracking through hypocrisy. Westward expansion fuels the fire, manifest destiny, The belief that America is destined to stretch from sea to shining sea. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubles the land. Lewis and Clark blaze trails through uncharted wilderness, facing grizzlies and rapids. Gold rushes in California, 1849, draw dreamers and desperados, boomtowns rising like mirages. Yet the Mexican-American War of 1846-48 carves out more territory, but at the price of blood. Heroes like Zachary Taylor charge into legend, but the ghosts of disputed borders haunt. Then the inevitable cataclysm, the Civil War, 1861. Fort Sumter falls under Confederate fire. Abraham Lincoln, the rail splitter from Illinois, vows to preserve the Union. A house divided against itself cannot stand, he warns. Brother against brother, Gettysburg. 1863, the bloodiest battle. Pickett's charge crashes like a wave against Union lines. Bodies piling in the Devil's Den. Emancipation Proclamation frees the slaves in rebel states, turning the war into a crusade. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address immortalizes the sacrifice. 7 years ago, but tragedy strikes. John Wilkes Booth's bullet in Ford's Theater. 1865, Sic semper tyrannis, he shouts, and a nation mourns. Reconstruction follows, a turbulent rebirth. Freedmen's Bureau aids the emancipated. But Jim Crow laws rise like weeds, segregating and suppressing. The Ku Klux Klan rides in the night, terror in white hoods. The late 1800s usher in the Gilded Age. Industrial titans like John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie amass fortunes in oil and steel. Factories belch smoke. Immigrants flood Ellis Island, their eyes wide with hope. Give me your tired, your poor, the Statue of Liberty beckons. But labor strikes erupt. The Haymarket riot. Pullman strike. Workers demand rights amid exploitation. The 20th century explodes with world wars. 1917, America enters World War I, doughboys charging over the top in France. Lafayette, we are here! They cry, tipping the scales. The roaring 20s follow. Flappers dance the Charleston, jazz swings in Harlem. But the Great Depression crashes in 1929. Bread lines snake through cities. Dust Bowl farmers choke on despair. Franklin D. Roosevelt's fireside chats soothe. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. New Deal programs rebuild, Social Security a safety net. Then Pearl Harbor. December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. World War II engulfs the globe. D-Day, 1944. Allied troops storm Normandy. Beaches under withering fire. Hiroshima and Nagasaki ended in atomic fire. 1945, ushering the nuclear age. Post-war boom. Suburbs sprout, baby boomers cry, and the Cold War chills. McCarthyism hunts communists. While the space race launches, Sputnik and Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong's words echo, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Civil rights movement ignites. Rosa Parks refuses to move. Martin Luther King Jr. dreams on the Lincoln Memorial steps. I have a dream, he proclaims, as fire hoses and dogs. Assault marchers in Selma. Assassinations scar the era. JFK in Dallas. 1963, MLK in Memphis. 1968, RFK in LA. Vietnam divides the nation. Protests rage. Soldiers trudge through jungles. Watergate topples Nixon 1974. Tapes unraveling lies. The 1980s, Reagan's Morning in America. Berlin Wall falls. 9/11, 2001. Towers crumble. Heroes rise from the rubble. Wars in Iraq and Afghanistan test resolve. Obama, 2008, the first black president. Yes, we can. Trump, 2016, shakes the establishment. Pandemic ravages in 2020, vaccines triumph. Today, America stands as a beacon, flawed, fierce, forever evolving. From Columbus's sails to Silicon Valley's, this is the dramatic odyssey of a nation forged in fire. What chapter will you write next? Subscribe for more tales that pulse with history's raw power. Like, comment, and share, because the story never ends.